All right, sparklers, it's time for The Gold Mine, a personal diary where I talk about the real challenges and triumphs we face as entrepreneurs. My goal is for all of us to feel a little less alone on this journey and a little more inspired to keep going. You know that weird space between knowing or learning something and then actually applying it? Let's say you've listened to the podcast, read the book, taken the course. Maybe you even had that revelatory aha moment, but you still haven't made a change based on what you learned. You know what to do. You've learned it. You've maybe even talked about it out loud, but for some reason, you're still not doing it. That's the awkward gap. It's uncomfortable. Sometimes you might even feel a little bit ashamed. You might find yourself thinking, why haven't I just done the thing already? In my own journey, I felt that gap most acutely when I've intellectually understood what needed to happen in my business, but maybe wasn't emotionally ready to make the leap yet. Or when I had all of the information in front of me, but couldn't seem to translate it into action. I had this feeling for a pretty long stretch earlier this year. I kind of knew something needed to change in my business, but I didn't have a clear enough vision of what that change was supposed to actually be in order for me to move forward. And that was super frustrating because I just wanted to get through the change already. The before the change period felt extremely uncomfortable and like this waiting period, this holding pattern. And eventually I just had to be okay with many days and many weeks of this is the best I know to do right now, even if I'm not totally sure I'm doing the right things or making the right decisions. Because standing still and overthinking wasn't going to help me either. I had to at least start moving towards something. And then there are times when I know something needs to change, but I just don't have the time or capacity to take the steps to make it happen. That's frustrating too. But I'm just one person. There are only so many hours in the day. Those situations really bring up a lot of hard feelings. Maybe you felt them too and question yourself like I have. Am I lazy? Am I afraid? Am I just never going to be the kind of person who follows through? And I think what I want to tell you is no. This doesn't mean you're broken. You're just human. That gap between the knowing and the doing, I think it's part of the process. And the more you try to fight it, the more power it seems to have. I hate that part, honestly. I'm a doer by nature, and sometimes doing just simply isn't possible in the immediate present for the reasons I mentioned. I've had breakthrough conversations or moments of inspiration where I thought, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear or to know. And then nothing changes. I keep circling the same block, stuck in the same patterns. Not because I don't want to change, but because implementation is freaking hard. Action takes a lot of energy. And most of all, it requires you to become someone slightly different than you were yesterday. And sometimes you get further and further away from the moment that sparked it all for you. And you can't even quite remember what lit the fire, or maybe the circumstances have just shifted. Sometimes it's kind of like just too many tabs are open in our brains. But I've learned, especially this year, I've stopped, or at least have tried to stop using that in-between space as some kind of self-fulfilling proof that I'm failing. Instead, I'm trying to see it more as a signal that I'm gathering, I'm integrating, I'm getting ready. And even as I say all that out loud, I'm getting chills because it's something I constantly need to remind myself of. I'm impatient. I like action. I don't always have tolerance for the quiet period. But I know that when I am ready, if I can make it through that really, really uncomfortable part, then the action will usually come really quickly, almost effortlessly. So if you're in that awkward gap right now too, between what you know and what you're doing, I want to say this: give yourself a little grace. You don't need more pressure. And I say that to myself too, because I put so much pressure on myself to just figure it out already. What you and I need is more curiosity. Instead of asking, why haven't I done this yet? Try asking, what do I still need to feel safe enough to take the leap? What would support look like? What's one tiny action I can take to bridge the gap in the meantime, even just a little bit? Because moving forward doesn't always mean overhauling everything. Sometimes it just means taking the tiniest, most gentle next step and trusting that momentum will build. You already know more than you give yourself credit for. So don't rush to fix or force. Listen to the little voice inside you. Trust that awareness is action too. And when the voice gets louder, clearer, more confident, and I promise it will, it might take a little bit, but it will. Suddenly you are out the other side and you have made the leap. Great job. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos for even more tips.